Hey everybody, welcome to the Village Guys show. If you're joining for the first time, this is a show that we chat to people of Paul doing amazing things and following their dreams. And one of those individuals is Ernst van Rhyn. And I wanted to chat to Ernst a bit because he's overseas playing for the Sale Sharks. For those of you that don't know him, rugby player, played for the Stormers. And he's embarked on a new journey up in England. And I wanted to find out more about Ernst, about how's rugby life, and of course, how is it to be a newlywed in a new country. So I'm just going to chat to him quickly and find out more about his story.
SCP Radiology, an established radiology practice in the Western Cape, is on a mission to provide high-quality and precise diagnostic radiological procedures. Their latest branch, located in Paarl Medicenter, offers top-quality dedicated X-ray imaging in the heart of Paarl. Find out more on their website at www.scp.co.za.
What do I say? Good afternoon or good evening?
Afternoon, evening. Okay. As long
Sorry?
as it's in a British accent, then I'll accept.
Dude, what's happening? How are you doing overseas in England?
No, it's been good. I think we've settled in really nicely. As you mentioned, my wife and I, it's almost 3 months we've been here now. And it's been great. I think it's gone really smoothly. The people, obviously Sale Sharks, the club is in Manchester. So the people have been good. People at the rugby club have been really good and really enjoying the team. Feel like it's the right place at the right time. So it's been good, and the weather's been okay. Everyone's warning us against the weather, but it's not getting us down at this stage.
Cool, man. Yeah, so I mean, of course, played for the Stormers a bit, but tell us before the Stormers, what school, what high school, what primary school, and then just a bit about the professional life after school.
Yeah, so we moved to Paarl in 2006 with my family, and my parents bought a house right behind Paarl Gymnasium. So that's how I ended up going to Paarl Gymnasium. So I was primary school there since grade 3, and then went to high school. I enjoyed my rugby, but wasn't the best when I was younger. I was a bit of a late developer. Grade 8 and 9 and 10 still actually played B team. Enjoyed the rugby, but wasn't really too much into it. And then sort of started setting goals, wanted to play for the school's first team. And then from there, it sort of escalated. I think I developed quite a bit in grade 10, got a bit of length and a bit of a body, which helped. Then got some opportunities after school. I think I'll say one of my biggest dreams, and one I'm actually busy pursuing, is to also become a pilot. That's like my childhood dream from 3 years old. So that was always my plan of doing that as soon as I finished school. And then the rugby brought some opportunities along. And then went to Stellenbosch, or signed a contract with Western Province and the Stormers, which is also my childhood team. So that was really special getting that opportunity. Then played for the under age groups, under 19, under 21, and also played for Marties in the Varsity Cup, which we had the privilege to win 2 years. Studied at Stellenbosch, did my BCom logistical management degree, which I finished in 2019, and then sort of progressed into the senior team at Western Province. And I think looking back, it was probably like since school, it was 8 years in the Western Province Stormers setup, and I think it was very, very blessed. I don't have anything bad to say. They just treated me well. Literally made some real dreams come true. As I said, it's my childhood team, and been supporting it with my dad and my brothers since young. So it was a real privilege to play, and then also to obviously win the first URC with Stormers was absolutely unreal. So then moved into the professional setup. Started with my private pilot's license, which is basically the first step back in Cape Town, and hoping to finish it this side. So that's sort of how the journey went. And yeah, I think just looking back at the last year or whatever, yeah, like I said, I don't have any, like, Western Province Stormers were just good to me. And the people I met there and relationships I built were great. I think it was more of a personal thing of myself wanting to challenge myself a bit more, see what's out there, and get into a new environment, because obviously being there since, that's the only environment I knew. So to challenge myself in rugby, but also in life, adapting in a different country, stuff like that. So that was more about the move. And yeah, now we're here and still enjoying every moment of it. It's quite a journey.
Yeah, I mean, so maybe for the kid at home watching, so you of course play for Gim and you first team and you play, and all of a sudden you're up into professional rugby. So every kid that plays rugby at school has a dream to get a professional contract. What is that? What's the biggest change that you realized from schoolboy rugby to professional setup to into the senior setup? Yeah, like what's the biggest experience there for you?
I think firstly, I would just say that, or what worked for me, and obviously a lot of studies have proven it, not only in rugby, but we're setting like small, realistic goals. Like I said, I literally, my first goal was to play first team for Paul Gym, and then sort of achieve that, and then you go on to the next thing and next thing. But going to the professional setup, I think it is quite different, in the sense that suddenly, I think because at school you're quite bound to your age group. Suddenly you've got at the Stormers a Brock Harris, who's I think 38 this year. You're working together, and quite young. But I think just being open to learning new things, I think you realize very quickly that you don't know as much as you do. Most young people, I think, realize once you start leaving school or start entering a workplace. And then I would say it's also important to not let it take over your life. I'm also always a believer of having a good balance. So obviously it's your job, and there is good times and bad times, but it isn't the be all and end all, or at least it's not for me. That doesn't work for me. Like, there's more in life to just the rugby, because there's a lot of things. Yeah, I think, and then in saying that, there's a lot of things in rugby you can't control. You can do the hard work. So I would almost, the old cliche is control the controllables, but the work you put in, you can control that. How hard you work, how hard you push yourself, and especially when it's not expected of you or no one's watching, that you can control. The coach not picking you or someone not passing the ball, stuff like that you can't control. So it's more, I would say, like, focus on stuff to improve yourself and what you can control, rather than getting caught up in other people's decisions or stuff like that. And aiming sort of your happiness or your success on those decisions.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like, what was probably the most difficult time for you? I mean, you're fairly young, you in the professional setup. Was there ever a time where it was very challenging or difficult as a young Ernst van Rhyn rugby player? Was there ever a situation like that?
Yeah, I think there's still some of those situations, like, the last year or whatever. I don't think you ever sort of passed that point. I think a difficult time for me was obviously studying while playing. So it was quite tough balancing that. I did my 3-year degree over 4 years, obviously while playing. And it was tough balancing that, because I was one of the few guys studying, so the environment wasn't really set, and obviously you're professional, so you don't go to all the classes or whatever. But I think I had a good support system there, people helping me. So it was a tough time just in balancing everything and making sure you don't miss something. But I think, like, looking back, and what I say, still stuff you still struggle with now is, I think the tough thing about professional rugby is you put in a work environment and a professional setup pretty soon. So you coming out of school, 18, 19 years old. You're earning a basic salary, which none of your friends have. So I think the toughest, and it's still now, like rugby is a team sport, it's a bunch of men together, and you got to find yourself in that. So I think the most toughest part, and as I say, I'm still discovering that daily, is just sort of finding and staying true to who you are, and what you believe, or what values you might have, because a professional setup can be quite challenging, when there's certain, not necessarily things expected of you, but certain ways that most people do something. Then it's difficult to stay true to yourself, especially when you're pretty young. Obviously, being older now, you look back at some of the younger years and things you might have done or choices you might have made, which you look at differently now. Um, I assume it's part of any sort of job or getting into a workplace. I think the toughest thing is probably getting into a professional setup at a young age. You just you're exposed to a lot more at a pretty young age, which can be challenging.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably one of the questions I always ask my guests. Like, you've said now a few of the choices you made when you're younger, but I mean, what are those choices? What would you have told your 20-year-old self or 21-year-old self? What you have done differently?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think, yeah, I think most probably would be to have stayed true to my values a bit more. Yeah, I think it's much easier, obviously, in retrospect, but there were times where you just, I don't know, like going through the motions. I think, first of all, rugby specific, like the last 2 or 3 years, being a bit older, like pushing myself harder, what I said earlier. Yeah, I didn't get it right. So I sort of got onto the scene, and then sort of for, I don't know, 2 or 3 season period, like not went through the motions. You're obviously working hard and training hard, but you're not like really focused or really pushing yourself and really sure that you're improving. So looking back at that in a rugby aspect, like where I am now, like literally pushing hard every training and trying to get the most out of all the hours you spend, say, for instance, training. Um, where rather, yeah, when I was younger, maybe you get into a mindset, you think you're working hard, but you're actually fooling yourself a bit. And then I think just in a life aspect or in the rugby, yeah, is like staying true to yourself a bit more, making the tough decisions, when it's, or taking actions with tough decisions, earlier. Where, yeah, I think it's taken me quite a few to actually find myself, and to say this is who I want to be, this is who I don't want to be. So looking back, yeah, I think there's just some mistakes or choices made where you've disappointed people, and I think that's also a big thing for me. I don't want to disappoint people. There's a lot of people who care for you as a professional, and who've put in a lot to see you succeed. So pointing them is always a tough one.
So I mean, like, so when you have to make those difficult decisions, who's on speed dial? Like, who are we phoning first? I've got a decision. It's a difficult decision. Who we calling first? Of course, now it's the wife first, but previously, I mean, you newlywed. Who's the go-to person for difficult decisions?
Yeah, I think, like, first of all, my faith is a big thing for me. Especially, I won't say, oh, like I've made my fair few mistakes, but it's a good or it's my foundation. So it's the first thing to judge off. I tend to speak, like, reach out to people quite difficult. I think it's a bit of a manly thing. But I would say, yeah, definitely first coming up would be my dad. My my parents, but especially my dad. I think just because, like, for men, it's a bit easier, or he has a better idea of what I might be going through. They've always been there, in the ups and downs and everything. So he would be the first one that I would go to. With things like that, I think he's, yeah, I admire him for a lot of things, but he's always calm and yeah, he's calm and steadfast in his advice. too hard on me, or also being hard when it was necessary, I think. So, yeah, my coach, luckily now with the phone calls, he's still, or it's still possible, but obviously get the new life and the married life. My wife is here with me, and now we got to deal with stuff together. And that's exciting in a sense, to have someone to now deal with it together.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're calling dad, are you coming from a rugby family? Did dad also reach the heights that you are reaching?
I don't know. So he hasn't spoke. He played a bit of varsity rugby when he was at hostel and stuff. But he was in the Navy for about 12 years before. Yeah, he's studied engineering, but he was in the Navy for long. So no, he didn't really play. I know he went to school a year early, so he never had a good year. So he was 17 and then went off to university. So no, he's not massively in the rugby. My mom was very like sporty, and I definitely. Um, I have three brothers. One is 2 years older than me, and then twin brothers who are 4 years younger than me. If you look at them, all my three brothers, I'll definitely have more of my mom's side, like of my body. I don't know, construction or how where my mom's dad they're built pretty sturdy. My grandfather and my mom's brother, they played a bit of rugby, so that helped me a bit. But yeah, both parents are long or tall, so I'd say that's probably where the four of us get our length. Although I'm actually the shortest of the four.
Jeez.
But yeah, so no, my dad wasn't really, and my eldest brother played socially at school. And then the younger ones are playing varsity cup rugby, the ones at UCT and the other ones at Marty's. So they're playing there, but they're more focused on their studies and those careers.
Yeah. So we in Stormers, we win the URC. How does the sales Sharks opportunity come past you? How does that happen?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, the 8 years of the Stormers were amazing. It was really like a dream come true, and I think, you often catch yourself still reflecting on it and being like, Jesus, this is amazing. And yeah, I think it was in the back of my mind. And the one thing that I told myself was that if I consider a move like this, it wouldn't be alone. And now back at the first 2.5, almost 3 months, I know it's not possible for everyone, because if you haven't met the person, then you haven't met the person. But for my case, I would definitely recommend, if you can, to come over together. I think it would have been much tougher coming here on my own. I think it's just nice to have someone to share it with. In saying, like I said, I don't say you must force it, but obviously knowing that we at that stage we were engaged, and Sale approached me. Western Province did want to extend the contract, but they also they wanted to extend for another 2, and I was willing to do a 1 year. But like I said, they've only treated me well. There's absolutely no hard feelings or anything. It was more of a personal thing for me, to challenge myself a bit, as I've been at Western Province, and I didn't want to look back at my career and be like, geez, it was great. I had great memories. I was in a bit of a comfort zone. Wanted to challenge myself a bit. Obviously, growing up in Paarl, playing for Western Province, which is a dream come true, like I said, but being close to home, like home is always close. You're very comfortable. All your friends are around. You know everyone at the union. You know the team, the coaches. So it was more like a personal thing for me of saying, like, maybe go experience something different, challenge myself, grow in a different way, to what I may be used to. And Sale came along, and wanted to Zoom calls with their coach Alex Sanderson, and some of their staff. And I think it was just, looking back now also, at the right place at the right time. I think where Sale Sharks are, they obviously lost. They've been building for the last few years. They lost in the final of the Premiership to Saracens. So they're in a building, and I think it was just a good fit for where they are as a team and where I'm at my career.
Yeah.
Challenging myself off the field also. I think when you're in a new environment, there's obviously different expectations, pressures, which often might get the best out of you. And then also adapting in a different country. My wife and I love traveling, exploring, experiencing different cultures. I don't know. It's something that we enjoy and try and embrace whenever we get the chance. So yeah, that's also good. She was keen from the start for the move, so that helped a lot. And yeah, that's basically how we ended up here. Was quite disappointing because I got injured before. I think
Yeah.
it was March, so I could
Yeah.
have my final game for the Stormers without like knowing it's going to be my final game.
Yeah.
And it's that cliche where everyone says play every game like it's your last.
Yeah.
Testify to that now. So it wasn't the dream ending, and then
Yeah.
obviously we lost in the final, which would have also been a nice sort of cherry on top to finish
Yeah.
off that chapter. But looking back, it was an amazing journey and
Yeah.
chapter, and yeah, now we're ready to go for the new one.
Yeah, I mean, you as a individual, you've taken on a lot. You've taken on a lot in the past 3 months. I mean, you moved to a different country. You also get married. You're moving away from parents. So I mean, life must be, I mean, super exciting on the one hand, but I mean, away from home in a new country, doing everything brand new. How you coping?
No, I think we're coping well. It has been a pretty intense last three
Mm,
months. But yeah, like I said, we've been really blessed with everything going smoothly. And yeah, I think just looking back, obviously got engaged and then then signed the sale deal about a month later. We decided, okay, we're going to move, and then we wanted to be married before we move. Also in saying that, Bianca and I have been together for 8 years
yeah.
since school. We met in Paul Gym.
Okay.
In grade 11, we came together. So yeah, and then looking at that, okay, we got to get married. So we literally got married on the Saturday and we flew out on the Wednesday. So I said, no, I'm bringing
Mm.
you to Manchester for honeymoon. But yeah, and yeah, it's just been, I think, really, yeah, it's just felt right from the start. And then I had a busy, I was straight into training. We had an off week at the end of August, which we did our small honeymoon. We went to Italy for a few days,
Nice.
which and now we're back and getting ready for the new season. But I think it's been good. Once again, it really helps when you have
Mm.
someone and that someone is your best friend. I think that really helps. So we've had a lot of smaller mishaps and we just laugh about it. That's what I'm saying. It's much easier when there's someone with you because then we just laugh at each other. Something we got wrong or some tram or train we got wrong and we don't know where we are or forgot to take the umbrella and it suddenly started to rain or whatever. But yeah, the life is pretty similar in a lot of senses, but also very different.
Mm.
Some of the accents are different. But we have a lovely neighborhood. I'm about 10, 15 minutes drive from our training ground.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
and as I've said, everyone at the club has been really welcoming. Everyone's been really acceptive in the sense of, do you need anything? Are you
Yeah.
happy? Is Bianca happy? Is she settling
Nice.
in? Need anything? So I made some good friends. We found a good, actually a recommendation we got from when we were in Cape Town of a church to go to. We have a little community there. So that's been good. That also makes it a bit easier finding sort of that type of community. So yeah, I think we're settling really nicely. Been down to London. We have some South African friends who live in London. So we've been down there for a long weekend, which is also good.
Yeah.
Um, and it helps. There's a few South Africans at the club, so it makes it feel a bit easier. I think just
Yeah.
having a bit of Afrikaans or a bit of South African, um, all the UK boys.
Yeah. And what's the vibe like? I mean, it's World Cup. I mean, you round the corner from what's happening. Like, what's the vibe like in England?
Yeah, it's been good. We obviously strongly considered going to one of the games because it's weird when you're living here. Everyone doesn't go to the beach for holiday or to Hartenbos or whatever. They go to Spain or to Portugal.
Yeah.
It's literally so easy. So we were considering, but we've been playing warm-up games basically from the weekend the World Cup started. So I don't think we'll be able to get over. The vibe's good. We've been trying to sort of get into the English vibe because obviously they're known for their fans being quite hardcore sometimes. But it's been pretty quiet around here. So people from Manchester and all the northern people in England, everyone told us that they're more friendly or accepting, where London people are pretty much, because it's so busy and everyone's just working and focused on their things, they're not as inviting. And I must say, we've really experienced, we have a great neighborhood, very quiet. Bianca's best friends is the two English ladies next door and across the road, both over their 70s, and they're together. Yeah, everyone's greet. It feels a lot more like South Africa in the sense people walking past you in the street, greeting, saying welcome. When did you move in? Where are you from?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah. How was the first few games? I mean, you played, of course, friendlies, preparing for the season. How's the first few games been?
Yeah, it's been great. First of all, it's been great for me just getting back on the field. So since the injury, it was about 6 months now. Obviously, he was injured, then went into preseason, just playing again. Right, realizing okay, it's okay. I can still play a bit of rugby. So it was good, and didn't get off to the best of starts. So it is what they call. I don't understand it completely, but Prem Cup. So it's like not the Premiership, it's like a warm-up tournament, but there is a final. But most teams use it as giving young players a chance as warm-up games. My first game was playing against Leicester Tigers, and that was actually the 30 minutes Andre Pollard played before he got called up was against us. We lost the game 18-14. And I don't know, obviously, I don't know the teams around here, but we played pretty well and we played a very young team. So they would call like under 19, under 21 guys here, they have what they call academy guys. So they're in the academy. So we played a pretty young team and we actually almost made it, almost won it at the end. So that was the first experience. Second experience, we went up to Newcastle Falcons, which is about a 2.5 hour drive with a bus. And yeah, it was cold, rainy. It was a proper first English experience. And yeah, we had quite a poor game. We lost that one as well, and then won the one on the weekend.
I've got a few questions here just to get to know Ernst a bit better. So, if you could invite 3 people for supper, dead or alive, or Bri, would be at the table.
So the first one will definitely be Roger Federer.
All right, okay.
Like a big sporting hero of mine. I think just the way he handles himself, how he's been consistent over the years. So yeah, I would also always say I'll go for someone like that. Then the second one would probably be some aviation guy. The obvious one to go for would be Sully, from the guy who landed the plane on the Hudson. The movie is about. So he'll probably be the second one. The third one, that's the thing. Go for something like diverse.
Yeah.
I think I would still, let's go for someone like Nelson Mandela. I think it's pretty obvious. But just having the ability to sort of feed off him or to see how he really works, because everyone's who's met him, had the privilege to meet him, just said he had this amazing aura. So
what is a pinch myself moment in Ernst's life? Like, what is the time when you say, wow, Ernst, this is really happening? Of course, you're going to say getting married to the love of your life, but I'm not going to say that one. But what is a pinch myself moment?
No, I think it would be probably being able, when we won the URC would be a big one. In the sense of it's a team you've been supporting. It's the first international tournament we won and you were part of it. It's pretty crazy to think, like, as a young boy watching like
Yeah.
Storm finals and Currie Cup finals at Newlands. To actually be part of it is quite weird. And I think the other big, or is like a smaller thing, but yeah, just playing with some guys who actually grew up, I think for any sports,
100%.
admiring. Like being great friends with a guy like Skaran Tubeni now. Being able to play with guys like Stephen Kitsoff. It's guys, when I was still at school, these guys were heroes, and I was watching them, and yeah, like literally like a few years along the line, you look back, and it is a bit of a pinch myself, like, Jesus.
Yeah. Who's the person you look up to the most in life? Like who's the person you look up to?
No, I think once again, it would be my dad. He's my biggest role model. Yeah, he's just steadfast. Always gets honest man, hardworking. The way he's provided for us as four boys. And in saying that, once again, I'm not taking anything away from my mom. I mean, to raise four boys. She's definitely the right person to have four boys, and I think she's done a really good job. But my dad is my ultimate role model. I think if I can be as close as possible to the man he is, I think I'd be pretty happy. So
Yeah. What was your biggest failure in the sense of what happened that there was failure, but what was the lesson that you learned from that failure?
I think I've been pretty blessed. So some people might say this is, I don't understand it completely, but obviously injuries are part of the game. There was a stage, it was just before the first URC season started off well. Then we got to about, I think 2 months before the playoffs, and I injured. Got an injury in training, and I felt I was on a really good wicket. So I haven't had what I say. I've been pretty blessed with injuries. For the longest I've been out or not playing is about 6 months, where other people might have had longer injuries. But I think it gives you a lot of perspective once you're injured, and most sportsmen will tell you that. Where when you're good in playing, then everything is happy and you're sort of busy. Where you have a lot more time when you're injured and a lot more time alone. And I think looking back at that, it was pretty crucial for me in a sense of realizing where do I find my value. And that's what I was saying earlier. I think also when you're younger, you get caught up in it. You get caught up in it without realizing it. But are you finding value in like other people, or actually find yourself? For me, what are you adding value to? For me, that's also comes back to my faith, in a sense that's ideally where I find my value. But realizing that in impressing other people or not disappointing other people, really what it's about. And I think I had to go through that injury, which was like a low point, to actually realize that. And it's changes the way you see things, sort of my mindset.
So what is the rest of the year looking like for Ernst?
I think we got 16 games on the bounce.
Wow.
Again. So it's going to be pretty busy. So getting into that, obviously playing my role, whatever that is in the team, and giving us the best opportunity to hopefully take it one step further this year. And then obviously very exciting. It is still a bit far away, so we'll see. Hopefully I'll make the trip, I believe, and I'll work hard too. But playing the Stormers in Jan, that's coming up. So we're playing the Stormers in January in Cape Town. So I don't want to think about it too much. It'll be pretty weird feeling playing against the Stormers team.
And are you coming home December? Not December? Are you playing throughout?
So we're basically playing straight through. So we won't be coming home December. I don't know. Everyone says it's not really a white Christmas, it's a rainy Christmas here, but whatever, we'll try and make the most of it. So we'll see, but we'll be around here. And then in Jan, obviously, hopefully make the trip to Cape Town, then be able to see our families again. Bianca might go a bit longer, spend some time there. And then we have quite a break in February.
Okay, nice.
So we have about a 10-day break, which we're still planning, but hopefully visiting some friends of ours who are in Europe. So we use that to sort of recharge. The rest we'll see. The rest will. I must say we have, which is weird for the Premiership, but we have quite a few Friday night games. So then you have at least Saturdays and Sundays off still. So we'll try and do as much as we can in and around sort of Manchester and England a little bit. But for now, it's focusing on the rugby. I think getting season off to a good start.
Lastly, what is Aaron's big dream? So, what's the big dream?
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say the other thing. Hopefully, within the next month is getting my pilot stuff going here.
Okay, cool.
I've really gotten into that. So, did most of the training and exams, or actually did all the exams for the private pilot license in SA. So it's about transferring that and getting that going. So the big dream is to play for the Springboks. I think we're taking it day by day and working hard to get there. It's obviously, I think, any South African rugby player or rugby boy, that's the dream. Just that's the dream. And then just looking forward in life, like I said, the big dream to become a pilot. I'm hoping to fly commercial somewhere in my life and hopefully for a lot of years. So that's an absolutely massive dream for me. So look forward to pursuing that as much as I can while playing, and then afterwards. I think that's pretty much the big dreams.
Yeah. And so, who are the two semi-finalists in the World Cup? Let me hear.
Yeah, I'm backing the Box. I don't know. What I say, I'm carefully optimistic because I don't like people who are like overconfident. Some people say I'm too humble or too like cautious, but I'm pretty sure we'll. If it is France, we'll beat them. And then I don't know the finalists. A lot of people are saying Ireland, but I think they might trip over the last hurdle in the semi-final. We'll see. I think it's been a pretty intense World Cup. And very enjoyable. Very competitive at the top. Especially, like the group stage were good, but I think when we're gonna get to the quarterfinals and semi-finals, geez, there's some big names who have to miss out on the semi-final here. So but I think the Boks are in a good place, and they know what they're doing, and they've been together quite long. And I think when the pressure's on, then that just counts so much in your favor.
Okay, so you're saying it's a South Africa Ireland final?
Yeah, for now.
Dude, thanks so much for the chat, man.
No, anytime. Thanks for the work you and your guys do. Obviously, Paul is always home. So it's special to see, and obviously love the time and the people, and thanks for what you guys do for the community and uplift, and it's very appreciated.
Thanks, dude, man, and enjoy the sunshine.
That's probably going to be next year, March or April.
But Ernst, thanks so much for your time, dude. I really appreciate it. Enjoy the rugby day.
No, thanks a lot. Have a great evening.
Cool, man. Bye-bye.
Yes, bye.